Action. You guys asked for this. I've had so many requests about this one topic. It's a girl who falls in love with her psychiatrist, and it's a 21-part series on TikTok. And everyone was like, Suvi, you're the guy who's gonna break this down. You're gonna crack open this case.
Somebody had to do it.
I said, all right, let me react live to it. I don't know anything about this case other than there's a lady claiming that she fell in love with her psychiatrist, which I would call, from her, weird, from him, pretty good business.
Respect, man.
I got my board here. POI, points of interest. I just want to note them down. Let's figure out what this case is about, because I don't know what I'm in for, but I do know that this must be important to you guys because I'm currently on holiday. This is not my house. I actually rented a B&B just to do this video for you. So if you don't subscribe, I'm losing money. Okay, thanks for the guilt trip. That's what I do. Let's watch this 21-part series on TikTok.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he knew, and he kept me until I had the strength to leave after 4 years.
This is a TikTok thing, isn't it? Like, turn on TikTok. I fell in love with my toilet and the sink was jealous, so I have to break up. All right, there's a lot going on here. You're just throwing out words and you're just putting things together. Bob the Builder fucked my wife. I was like, okay, all right, give me like 3 seconds. Let's see what happens. There's a big glossary, by the way.
Here it is, part 1. So I decided to go back on ADHD meds after.
Look, I'm sure everyone is struggling, right? I know. I suffer with depression. I don't think I would ever open a TikTok and be like, my ex-wife cheated on me with my new wife. I hate Bob the Builder. Like, it's a very tough thing to start with these things. But okay, so she's got ADHD. Her psychiatrist made her fall in love with him. Okay, go.
After many years of being off of them, I was on them in my early 20s to help me get through college. And then I went off of them because they just weren't, like, the side effects were too much over the benefits. But then in my late 20s, I read this book, Taking Charge of Adult ADHD, and it...
Oh, yep. There's that book.
What?
Yeah, I can't read backwards.
absolutely changed my life. For my fellow ADHDers, there's so many good things in here. And
I'm gonna write this shit down. My depressioners. I didn't know you could just put names on that. As a point of interest, she has something that she suffers with. Cool.
the biggest thing that I took away was that it's very important for ADHDers to be on meds. So
Pause. I've listened to 44 seconds of this. She started off by saying she was on the meds. She saw no benefit to it. In fact, the negatives were outweighing the positives. Then years later, she read a book, and the book changed her life. And the one thing she took from the book is that she should be on the meds. All right. It's the circle of life.
I decided to make an appointment with a psychiatrist. I just Googled psychiatry in the city that I lived in.
Did she just Google? For therapy. Use ChatGPT for therapy. Use Uncle Bobby for therapy. Use something. Don't use Google for therapy.
And I went with the first one that came.
Don't. You know when you do, you search for shoes, right? Does anybody click the first link?
Went with the first one that
Why? She clicked the link, which is obviously a pop-up ad. Those are the worst ones. She clicked that.
came up, and I got an appointment within a month. And then I booked a 90-minute intake, and I show up to the intake, and this man is my age, and I can't help but notice that he's pretty attractive, this psychiatrist.
And that's a problem because she wanted an ugly old man, but she got someone who was like, I got my life together and I'm in shape. And she was like, I don't think we can even do psychiatry together because I love you now. All right. I don't know what age she is because she said early 20s and then she said later on she read a book and then she's not saying her age, which makes me think she's 35. That's my guess.
And he kept me anyway.
So now we're part 2. Cool. Everyone just keep up. 21 parts, man. 21 parts. I'm doing the whole thing. I'm not skipping anything.
Part 2. So in this intake, you know, I kind of clocked that he was attractive in my age, but when I tell you that I've had a lot of couch time in my life,
Need to. This is a different age that we're living in when someone can flex how much therapy they've been to.
Hey, I know everything about this couch because I sit in it every week. There's no therapy. I just sit in this couch. I live here.
Flexed her therapy.
A lot of therapy. You know, I just went right into it. I trusted him enough, of course, why wouldn't I, to tell him about my childhood trauma, my daddy issues.
Oh my god. I don't know. I'm sure she's actually, this is like, maybe it's really bad what happened to her. I don't know. But this is hilarious. Come on, man. Within the first session, she's saying things like, I trust you. It's like, bro, you paid me to listen. I don't care if you fucking trust me. You have to pay me. It's your money.
If you will, what I had went through, all of the relationship trauma that I had. I was 6 months sober at this time, but like all of the drinking and substance use I used to do.
I think he needed a therapist. This is like Forrest Gump, but reversed. Like, he explains all the good things you do. She's like, in 90 minutes, I'll tell you my life story and how downhill it can go. Like, it seems like the only thing positive she did do was read the book. Like,
and he just listened and nodded. And that's the thing about psychiatrists, is that they're good at pretending to listen. They can...
That's the thing about doctors, is like they just pretend to make you better, but then you eventually die. Everyone died. Everyone who's ever been to a doctor has eventually died. Why? Type beat.
Peer connected, but that doesn't mean that they're always connected. So I just felt really seen. And I also told him, I was like, look, I don't want to be on stimulant meds. So he listened to me and he put me on the non-stimulant ADHD med at the lowest dose just to figure out if it was going to work for me. Part 3.
So far, all he's done was listen to her, do what she wants, and be attractive. I'm siding with the therapist so far.
So I hadn't ever seen a psychiatrist before. When I was on med...
Don't talk about it like a Pokemon.
I'd never seen one in the wild before. I didn't know they looked so attractive. I thought they looked like old rocks that came to life.
I don't know. I never caught one before.
Meds in my early 20s, I only got meds from my primary care physician. So I didn't understand how psychiatry works. So because he was figuring out my med dose, I saw him every month, and he just made me feel like I was his friend.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Okay, just calm down.
Alright, let me write down that she trauma dumped on him super hard. What she's supposed to do, I'm not gonna lie, but like, that was a heavy... She's got daddy issues, They're supposed to listen. They're supposed to be friendly. Imagine if you came into the office and you were like,
I think I'm gonna end it all. And he's like,
here's the noose. Don't waste my time. Like, nobody's gonna say that. Of course. They're gonna be like, I need to get you better. That's their job. Someone making you feel seen, that is what you pay them to do.
He was really, really funny and cracked jokes and told me he was impressed with my running that I would do. And yeah, so of course I loved the attention that I got from him.
Say, what? He showed me attention? What the fuck do you want, man? Who is there anyone else in the room? Imagine if he ignored you when you walked in the room. How would that feel? What am I listening to?
And it was in my 3rd session with him, because at this point we were all on Zoom, that I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if I call you by your first name? And he's Pakistani.
So his name is Pakistani. Not actually, like his name is not Pakistani guy. Like, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
So I said his first name wrong, and he said, well, it's pronounced this.
I bet you it was something like Habaraganjabla, and he's like, it was pronounced Jeff. You can chill with that.
But yes, of course you can. And he seemed so smug and happy with himself.
Why is this happening? She's going into the psychiatry. She's like, well, you didn't tell me about your childhood, Pakistani Jeff. Like, oh, what the fuck is happening here? She's judging him for existing? This is a Uno reverse card if ever I've seen one. I've never seen that. Like,
and I know that is because that was his first sign that him pretending like we're friends was working. And to be fair to me, I had only ever been to therapy before. I didn't realize that, you know, it's important to call your doctor last name.
You know what? She's right. Don't call your doctor by other names. A rose by any other name is not a fucking rose, is it? Shakespeare said that.
I mean, I did know that. I did it with all my other doctors, but it just showed that the boundaries were...
Yeah, but your other doctors weren't sexy. That's the problem. Pakistani Jeff is like hot shit. You got like Arabian Dave and Chinese Jimothy. Those guys are not as hot. Jimothy is a name now.
So from then on, from my 3rd session on, I started calling him his first name. And then he just started turning up the volume on us being friendly. And he would ask me, for the first 6 sessions, he asked me
for money straight up because he probably felt weirded out by you.
after the meds, he said, how's your bowels, bladder, and appetite?
That's a normal question so far. Can we all agree this is normal? This guy has done nothing yet?
And I would say they're all normal. And then he would ask me any thoughts of harm. And apparently that's pretty common for some.
She's the type of girl, like the cops will put handcuffs on her and she'll be like,
Not now, people are watching.
like, bro, you're reading the situation wrong, I think. And I can tell by part 3, this is really what's happening here. So we can pack this up.
Psychiatry to ask those questions. And then on our 6th session, when things were really, the chemistry was starting to be there before, like, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, this man is just friendly. And he said, I have to ask this because it's a special interest of mine, but is there any thoughts of harm? Like, I was special to him.
When I went to Burger King, the dude said, would you like extra ketchup? And I said, yes. And then I looked at him longingly in the eye for 3 hours and they shut down the restaurant because there's no business, and that didn't fucking happen. And I would never stare a guy in the eye that long unless it's a sexy girl guy. Are you serious, lady? You gotta take those meds.
And I said, no thoughts of harm. And he didn't ever ask me a clinical question again. So to me, I would just show up and he was like a therapy appointment every month. So I was seeing him every month.
Oh, we're on part 4. She's back inside the house. Cool.
And just gaining more and more respect for him because he would just tell me these little things about his successes and all of the cool things that he was doing in his life.
So he's flexing on you. You're like, I'm broke. I got ADHD, got daddy issues, I do drugs. And he's like, I don't do any of that stuff and I have a house. What a cool doctor.
And it made me fall for him, honestly.
Yeah, I guess a man who is put together is pretty good. That's why they don't always fall for the homeless. Those guys don't get the bitches. All right.
And he was really good at listening.
He's paid to do that. My doctor is good at fixing me.
Well, duh, I gotta fix the damn thing.
That's a lie. But, they're paid to do that.
And I mean, he's a Pisces, right?
What? I'm gonna write that. That's a point of interest. He's a My doctor is a Pisces. This is how bad I am at life. I don't know how to spell Pisces. This is why I'm single. You know his star sign, and he's Pakistani. You call him by his first name. If that isn't love, then nothing is. So
of course he's going to be there and be able to go deep with my feelings, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't extracting from them. Anyway, so I would beg him to let me see him every week. Beg him.
You're begging your psychiatrist to let him see you. Like that's not good. That's not good in your favor. It's not looking good, lady. Her name is Kendra, I believe.
Because my therapist at the time, he was fine. He wasn't a predator, but he was fine. He just wasn't doing very much for me. And so that therapist retired and I got a new therapist.
That's a joke, but it's true. There's a few things here. 1, she has a psychiatrist and a therapist. Not fully uncommon, but she's really loading up on those therapies, huh? 2, her therapist said, I have dealt with a lot of people, but I'm done. Now she has a new therapist and a psychiatrist. One who she loves, one who apparently is not doing anything for her.
And this new therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD, she was pretty helpful. So I stopped asking my psychiatrist, begging, honestly, to be my therapist and let me see him more, right? Which also should have been a red flag. But then I started focusing on this therapist. However, I would tell the therapist how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist.
So she's obsessed with him, and now she's telling other people about how obsessed with him she is. At this point, her psychologist is gonna go to a psychiatrist to talk about how she talks about her psychiatrist. Interesting lady, this.
She just was interested. She also loved stories about my dating life, and yeah, she also was getting supply from me in her own way, but that's for another part.
My psychologist is a piece of shit old lady who tried to get with me in her bed. She tried to use her granny panties to smuggle me into her country. I really can't wait for the 42-part series, Kendra, and I'll be waiting after this one, but I think we should focus on Pakistani Jeff for a while.
So yes, so I got a new therapist who actually helped me. She taught me CBT, EF.
She taught me CBT. She put me in DEBT. The fucking lady just did everything. Wrong. Okay.
all of these different modalities. And so I went back to just being okay with seeing Irfan once a month while he was giving me these little breadcrumbs of making me feel special, telling me about his professional achievements, telling me about how he's getting international recognition. And it worked. I was really impressed.
Okay, so Pakistani Jeff has international acclaim. He certainly does now. And I think that she fired her 75-year-old therapist and got another one. Are we up to 3 therapists? Can someone keep up with this? Anyway, we're in part 5.
Some sessions he'd be warm and kind and wonderful and let me in on little parts of his life and like be vulnerable with me or pretend. Other sessions he would be cold and clinical and detached. And you know what that did? It made me work harder in our next sessions. It did. And it started the addiction that I had to him. 100%.
She quit meth and then she started Jeff. That's really... She got addicted to her psychiatrist. She smoked that psychiatrist pack.
And he knew exactly what he was doing. This man gives lectures on trauma and attachment theory. He used his psychiatric training to manipulate me and...
Yeah, he used his superpowers to attach me to him. I begged him for sessions, but that's because he made me. I know, yes, he's sexy, and he used his sexual power of being masculine to attract me, and therefore it's his problem. I'm gonna, honestly, after this, I'm going to McDonald's and I'm suing them because I'm like, you shouldn't make your burgers look this shitty. I would eat them if they weren't.
Get me hooked, and guess what? It worked. In January of 2024, I was hit by a car turning left as I was going through a green light.
Well, that's a point of interest, isn't it? You know what I wish would hit her? Reality. Anyway.
And it was the night before my next appointment with my psychiatrist. So I was like, okay, I'll still be able to go to my appointment on Zoom.
Oh my God, man. If you get hit by a car, leave Jeff alone. Jeff can wait. Take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. I know he's not as sexy as Jeff, but he can help you.
I do not feel comfortable treating you. You need to seek emergency care now. You may be internally bleeding. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning and my appointment with my psychiatrist was at 2. So I decided that I was going to wait so I could see my psychiatrist and not have to reschedule because I was...
Hey Jeff, don't look at my organs, they're bleeding. Got hit by a car. You probably would have got that joke if you were there. Anyway, what the fuck? She risked it all for Pakistani Jeff. This guy must be the man.
Looking forward to my appointment with him so much. I look back at that time and I'm just like, oh my God, I put my own life under seeing him. I was fully addicted to him at this point. And you know what happened is that I showed up and I told him that I may be internally bleeding and he didn't stop the appointment.
Again, if you're gonna start stretching your ass out for this much, like if the blame can literally be on anyone, I could get in my car, put on Kevin Hart, watch him drive into a wall, and then be like, it's Kevin Hart's fault for being so damn funny that I just crashed into the wall. And if you really think about it though, it's fucking Steve Jobs' fault for making a device so good that I can watch TV while I'm driving my car. And if you really fucking think about it, it's Henry Ford's fucking fault for making a car because I wouldn't have ever done that. If you really think about it though, whoever made the earth, it's his fucking fault. So
he didn't say, you need to take care of yourself. Go get emergency care now.
Yeah, because he doesn't know that you're internally bleeding because he's not an X-Man. He's a Pakistani guy. I know they're super cool, but I don't think they're superhuman.
He let me continue and just tell him about how much I loved him and how grateful I was for him. Because that was really what most of our appointments were, is me just like pouring myself out because he was so good at the intermittent reinforcement.
What even actually is that? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I don't know some of these. I know what intermittent fasting is, and I like it. It means you don't reward a behavior every time it happens, only sometimes. Isn't that what they do to dogs?
Fuck you!
And children? Okay then.
I got some warmth from him that appointment. So that was January 2023. And I also told my therapist about...
I thought you got run over in 2024 by the car. Am I getting this wrong? Can someone fact check me? Maybe she said 23. I feel like I got gaslit there.
About this, she said nothing. See him, that's when he...
Okay, so part 6, she's now looking she looks like she ate grapes with her cheeks. I don't know why. She's got some grape sauce on her cheeks there. Everything's looking great. So it's always a good day when you smash some grapes on your face. I was in love with my part 6.
We started turning up the intimacy in our appointments. However, he was really smart.
Your Honor, he was turning up the volume. No, the intimacy in our sessions. Your Honor, he was mind frocking me. He was frequency tapping into me like time to time from every now and again, Your Honor. Arrest this man. Look.
And knew the professional lines like the back of his hand. So he would comment on my appearance, but not compliment my appearance.
Okay, I'm done. Goodbye. Get the fuck out. No, I'm done. I'm calling time on this, guys. Come on. Guys, what kind of society are we now? Like, how, I know girls are not like this. I know not all girls are like this. I know that. But there are more than there used to be who will say things like, he's not even saying I look hot today. And as soon as they do, he's objectifying me. And it's like, saying things like he commented on my appearance but didn't compliment it is the most mental gymnastic thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know what you say as a man. Like, what do you do to that question? I'm not into you. And then they're like, well, you're being hot and cold. And it's like, there's no winning this argument. I've never heard that before. Genuinely, I'm so stumped by hearing this. Oh my god. If I was a man, whoever the psychiatrist is, if he's watching this, he's probably like at home being like, holy shit, what bullet did I avoid just there? It's wild.
So I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you curled your hair. Or I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you're wearing glasses.
So he has eyes? Oh, well, good for you. Stevie Wonder is not your psychiatrist. Happy fucking day. Okay.
And of course I felt seen and excited that he was noticing these things about me. I didn't realize at this time that he had feelings for me too. I thought I was holding them all by myself.
You are. You're holding them like a fart. Really? Just let it out.
So I was so excited when he noticed my glasses that I ran and showed him my other pair. And he said, I prefer turtle shell glasses. So even though I usually wear contacts, I'm wearing these turtle shell glasses in these videos.
Take them off. Wear an actual turtle shell in your fucking head for all I care. Come on, man. This shit don't look good.
Because just in case he sees them ever, he'll see me
in court.
In his favorite glasses. He did tell me he likes the turtle shell. Anyway, it was just inappropriate things like that. Little...
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... Turtle shell. I like those glasses. Get a room, dude. Oh my god. Do you want to get married? Like, oh, now? He noticed I was wearing clothes today.
Little teeny things that he let me in. And all this time, my best friend is an emergency medicine physician. And she told me, she said, Kendra, one of these days, your psychiatrist, she would use his name, is going to say, I can't be your doctor anymore.
She's right. And if she was a better friend, she would be like, Kendra, one day you're going to go to jail. So please come with me. Let's stop this and let's get away from that doctor. If your best friend is like your doctor is gonna leave, I assume the best friend has tried their hardest. This is crazy, man. I'm in for the ride with you guys at this point.
I want to be with you. I want to be with you so bad. I can't be your doctor. I'll see you in 2 years. So my best friend, who's a doctor, she picks up on stuff like that.
Yes, well, we all know doctors are pickup artists, and we all know grocery people are superhumans. I'm so glad that we're learning today. We also know Samuel L. Jackson is just white but super tan. Thanks.
So even she knew that our relationship was crossing boundaries and getting weird, but that became my dream, was for...
I love how she's using all these psychological things on herself that you wouldn't be able to pick up on because, she's conveniently leaving them out. She's reinforcing her own. She's biasing herself. Her friend can't be there. Her friend couldn't possibly know the situation, but her friend is suddenly her strongest alibi. Someone who's never been in that room. What do we call that? Confirmation bias. You just want yes people who agree with what you're saying so you can feel even more correct. I may be drinking, but I'm not stupid.
I am not. My psychiatrist, I almost use his name to do that. And I told him about Brianna saying that, my best friend, who's the emergency medical doc.
I'm so glad that she said that. She dropped the whole title. Brianna, my best friend, medical emergency best friend. She's my emergency best friend. I'm like, bestie. She picks up.
Told him that she would tell me that, and he just would be silent. He didn't disagree, but he didn't agree.
He can't possibly agree on who your best friend is, bitch. Talking to Jeff. Jeff's sitting there and you're like, Rihanna, my best friend. And he's like, yep, cool. If you said David Beckham was my best friend, he'd probably be like, oh, cool. Whoever you want to be your best friend, you pick that. That's your best friend. Good. I don't know what it has to do with anything.
And that was weaponized neutrality was his favorite game to play.
I can't keep up with all these terms. What did you say? Weaponized not neutrality? Or what happened? Weaponized. She's speaking in nuclear terms, man. Weaponized neutrality. That's a beautiful piece of writing there. Let's ask ChatGPT. What the hell that mean? Weaponized neutrality. Let's go. When someone's pretends to stay neutral in a conflict or issue. History. During injustices, racism, war, etc., people who stayed neutral often allowed harm to others. That was the example that ChatGPT gave, not Kendra and Pakistani Jeff over here, but the whole issue of race itself. I used to know Kendra standing up for the big issues like, is Jeff into me or not? Let's keep going.
Anna telling me that my psychiatrist had feelings for me, but he also didn't say that's inappropriate. Let's change the subject. It was also around this time that I asked my psychiatrist if he had diagnosed me with anything other than ADHD when I...
Have you ever asked your psychiatrist if he was married with kids and happy and doing well in life and maybe, you know, okay with his life, providing for his family with therapy sessions such as these? Ever crossed your mind to, okay.
Well, you had a lot of traumatic things happen to you in childhood because of your dad, and so I diagnosed you with other trauma and stressor related disorder. That was weird. Why would he keep that from me? I asked him, like, why wouldn't he tell me that? That seems important. He didn't tell me because he was using that information to manipulate me.
Any comments on whatever the hell that was? My doctor was manipulating me because he didn't tell me every single thing that I wouldn't know about. Every time. He doesn't explain how the flu happens, so he gives it to me probably. I hate my doctor. He gives me the flu.
He knew I had trauma and stressor disorder, and instead of helping me heal from it and telling me about it, he used it against me.
You just saying all the shit, you didn't know you have that? He had to tell you that you had that? He didn't know? Does Ronald McDonald put the burger in my mouth and push my mouth up and he's like, chew it for me and shit? I don't know that I have food in my... He has to tell me? Really? Okay. All right.
Against me. January 2023, at this point I was full-blown obsessed with...
Of course you are.
...my psychiatrist, and my therapist wasn't helping me, my psychiatrist wasn't helping me.
My dog wasn't even playing fetch, my uncle wasn't there, and my best friend is now gone. This is a tough life for Kendra. Part 7.
Was feeding it, and then I got a boyfriend.
Woo!
And at first my psychiatrist wasn't really that keen, but then my psychiatrist realized that my boyfriend was a lot like my psychiatrist.
Ah, damn. I had like 5 seconds of happiness there. I was like, oh, she got a man. Then she got a man who resembled the psychiatrist. Now I'm like, this is weird again. This is like when someone gets a rebound and the rebound is like exactly like their ex and you're like, stop. All right, let's hear how she F's this up.
And then I started talking to my psychiatrist about my sex life.
I wonder if he asked. He was like, how's your bowel movements? And she's like, well, I'll tell you what's moving. My boyfriend's penis into me.
Gonna take a moment to erase that from my memory.
So let's talk about that. He has sex with me twice in total. He's pretty okay at it too.
About tracking my cycle using the fertility awareness method. And my psychiatrist loved it. He didn't never say, this isn't inappropriate to your care, let's pivot. Oh, he just let me talk and talk and talk about my sex life. And I didn't get too deep.
Just like your boyfriend. Anyway. What I was going to say before that is like, you can't say things to people and then be like, he didn't even stop me. That's a problem. Like, that's crazy. Can you just empathize with me? Can you sympathize at least? If a man was like, pushed himself onto a woman and he was like, well, she didn't stop me. She must have liked it. Everyone would collectively agree that's a horrible man, right? We know this is human boundaries. This okay. If you know that you're doing something wrong and you're like, they didn't stop me, so it's not my problem. It probably is your problem. I don't know if he was uncomfortable. I don't know if it's part of your thing. I'm not sure what. It probably does factor in. It might actually factor into your happiness, well-being. It's sex is a super important part of life. It's healthy. So maybe he was interested in it. I still think it's within the bounds of your health.
But about a year and a half in, and I would send my psychiatrist
dick pics,
these emails.
Oh, my bad.
About how much I liked him and how I was so grateful for him, and put in a bunch of heart emojis. And this is really when he should have transferred my care, but...
Bro, you should have transferred your care to another world, bro. I never ever put heart emojis in an email. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought they locked you up. I thought Bill Gates himself came through the computer and arrested you and then put a virus in your computer manually, which is just pouring water on the computer physically. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could put hearts on, like on emails. How unprofessional.
You know, he waited. He liked what I gave him too much. And so even though my boyfriend did not meet my needs,
he didn't get too deep.
My psychiatrist and my therapist both were like, you have to stay with him. There's nothing wrong with him not meeting your needs. I'm like, okay. And my psychiatrist was like,
I bet you she said stuff like, I don't know, he doesn't put every single dish away, or he didn't make the bed last Wednesday, and they're like, Kendra, I think maybe you should just give him a little more grace, because I'm sure he would do the same for you. I can't prove it, but I feel like she said something that I don't feel good for this boyfriend.
perfect, don't get wrong with him. And what was perfect about him was he wasn't meeting my needs, so I was still coming to my psychiatrist.
Very telling.
Looking for emotional validation, which he would drip to me slowly.
She's so poetic with how dirty she speaks. He's dripping his emotion onto her and stuff. Like, at some point you should write a book. Just write it. Me and My Sexy Psychiatrist, part 1. Like, Wattpad this shit.
So my therapist, who I didn't know at this time had bad boundaries, but she did, I went to her because my boyfriend and I, after like more than a year together, we started having issues in the bedroom.
Didn't I tell you I called it? Holy shit, is your phone ringing? I fucking called it, didn't I? There you go. Kendra doesn't like it.
And so I went to my therapist and she asked me, what does your psychiatrist think about this?
They're double teaming her. they're actually at this point, they're like sharing the burden. Well, what did you think about Kendra? Dude, I'm taking a week off.
And I said, I don't know. I haven't talked to my psychiatrist about this stuff because I have a crush on my psychiatrist.
Oh yes, of course. 1 year with my boyfriend, I still have a crush on my psychiatrist. That's going in the point of interest section. Gets a boyfriend, gets BF, doesn't matter. So can I just tell you something, like, from the standpoint of men? I just, this is my flex to you guys. I never had that issue. I have like a lot of self-respect. I'm not doing that, right? If I see someone and a girl is interested in someone else, go for it, please. It feels very sad to think that some guy's putting in all his effort, doing the best he can, and secretly Kendra over here is having her own love story with her psychiatrist and maybe just using him for reasons I don't know. It's a very sad state of affairs when she probably always knew that she just didn't care for him, but maybe he met some of the things that she could use. I don't know what it was. I'm not going to speculate. I just feel like it's sad. So poor dude is just being thrown around like a rag at this point.
I want to tell him this intimate of stuff. And she said, well, you should tell him because I want a male's perspective. So at my next appointment with my psychiatrist, I told him, I said, today we're going to talk about my intimate life.
I thought you already talked about that. Didn't you talk about that? I feel like she talked about that.
And he said, oh. I said, yes. My psychologist, my therapist, asked what your opinion on it was. And I told her that I don't talk to you about this intimate of stuff because I have a crush on you.
Okay. Just drop that truth bomb right there. So she tells the psychiatrist, I guess. Tells him she's crushing. Man, I miss crushes. They were so innocent and cute. Unlike whatever this is. Like, imagine like, back in school, like, I have a crush on her. She's cute. I remember having crushes on people. Do I have a crush on anyone? No.
And he looked down and smiled so big in that moment. He smiled so big and I loved it. So gross thinking about it. And then I proceeded to give him 30 minutes of non-stop content about my intimate life with my boyfriend. And I actually recorded the whole thing because
the boyfriend thing or the... Okay, so he's liking it. He's liking it. He's like, you got a crush on me? Yeah, tell me about your boyfriend.
I was so excited about it. But now it makes me sick. I can't even listen to the recording. I've tried to start, but it's gross. Any ethical psychiatrist would have stopped me and said, Kendra, let's talk about your meds. Let's talk about your care. At this point, my meds were stable.
The only thing stable was your meds. This is sad because you were not.
And I was still seeing him every month. Yeah, that was a rough time. And it was pretty much his Christmas morning. The almost 2.5 years of grooming me to get me to talk about sexual...
Is grooming... Is that... Can you use... I'm genuinely asking. Like, I don't want to... Can you use that term when it's like someone's like not like well off age and like... I think you can, but like... Can you? I thought it was like a younger girl and then like an older guy and you're like, he's grooming her and then she becomes off age and it's very weird and creepy. I don't know. I feel like she's using a lot of words that you use in like other contexts, but I don't know.
Things with him worked and he got 30 minutes of nonstop content to use. things. One, people are asking me what my mental health diagnosis is.
I'm just gonna ask you what your fashion person said when you decided to wear that hat backwards. You gonna rap battle me, Eminem? What's happening?
I do not have BPD. I do not have psychosis. I have ADHD, and I was experiencing extreme limerence with my psychiatrist.
Okay, I'm gonna look that word up. Oh, limerence. Dude, I thought she was experiencing like LimeWire. I thought she was downloading her psychiatrist podcast or something. Okay, so it's an obsession with someone. Oh, okay. You could have just said that.
Limerence is a normal thing to happen to anyone who is experiencing hot and cold behavior from someone. And it happens more often in people with ADHD because we have dopamine dysregulation and rejection sensitive dysphoria. And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that. And
you know, if she put as much effort into researching something she was passionate about as she did about researching how to absolutely dismantle anyone's possible conversation to derail her from doing whatever this is to herself, she'd be pretty smart because she's got the answer for every single thing. She knows exactly why she's traumatized, how, and what it does to her. But I bet you if you asked her to find Canada on a map, she'd point to Mexico.
And used it to his advantage. 2, I accidentally said my psychiatrist's first name in one of my videos. If you clocked it, good for you. I do not owe him anonymity. However, this is not about doxing my psychiatrist. This is about me sharing my story so other people can view predatory behavior in people in power. Okay? If anyone...
Do you know the double effect of this? Firstly, we don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, people who've actually really had this happen it gets warded down because like us, like layman people will hear stories, and if we hear more stories like this, then we get to the point where like, yeah, just another story. And it's not, because you have to treat every single case as if it could be something that really happened and that is absolutely bad. And it just feels sad when you get everyone saying everything is that. You can't have everyone like being like, wow, this is predatory. Get me my pizza 30 minutes late. Predatory. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta draw a line.
His last name or city that he works in or clinic that he works in, your comment will be immediately deleted and you will be blocked. This is about protecting other victims, not doxing my psychiatrist. If you do some investigative work and you want to DM me about it, I'm open to that.
I don't know about DM. I think you need an MD. You need a medical doctor. Girl, please seek help, but not from a sexy man. Seek help from an old man, one whose balls hang lower than his feet. Come on, man.
I need to take a moment. Moment taken. It is so...
Shit, I need to take a moment. You took a second. Girl, you scared me there, man. He was like, I need to take a moment. Okay, I'm back. Damn, I need a moment now. God.
Disturbing to me. The amount of people that are predator protectors in my comment.
Woo, PP, predator protector. If you're someone who says he's not a predator, you're a predator protector. Everyone in the world is against Kendra. Every single person is fighting Kendra. She's the Muhammad Ali of victimization. She's gonna beat everyone up, man.
That are victim blaming me, especially the mental health practitioners in my comments using therapy speak to say that this situation that I was in was my fault or that I was delusional. Check yourself.
You, buddy. I'm hitting that F so hard. I'm gonna explode those lips as soon. You.
You're giving me more ammunition.
Woo! She's using war terminology again, man.
To share my story, because it just goes to show how absolutely messed up the mental health industry is and how protected people who do this kind of sick psychological manipulation are.
Someone probably commented first in her comment section, and that's what happened.
So I will continue with my story. Welcome back to
She cut herself off. You can't make this up. Dude, you cannot make this stuff up. I will continue to... Hello, and it's me, part 8. She cut herself off, man.
Another installment of I was in love with my psychiatrist and he kept me anyway, part 8. You all did some nasty work last night and I had to turn off comments.
There it is.
People started posting my psychiatrist's first and last name, his picture in the comments. That was a jump scare. So yeah, A few bad actors who wanted to be super sleuths got the privilege of commenting, mostly hate, let's be real.
She's that kind of teacher. You ruined it for all of them, teacher. Oh, I hated those teachers in school. This is like that teacher. I didn't know it back then. He was teaching communism. This is a crazy man. Okay, all right. Yeah, we're Kendra, class of Kendra. We're all here. Sorry for ruining your thing. Let's not make comments, guys. My comment sections are open.
So at this point in the story, there are two main players. My psychiatrist, who's my age, who crossed major ethical boundaries, and my therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD. Neither of these people, at this point in the story, I knew.
Why does she keep saying 75-year-old? Like, do I need to know that? This is like information that's necessary?
Were crossing boundaries. I thought that everything was hunky-dory and that I was just in love with my psychiatrist and it was totally normal.
You can't say that. That's so funny, dude. I thought everything was fine. I was in love with my psychiatrist. Nothing was wrong. And then someone said something.
Normal. Little did I know he was manufacturing everything so I could fall in love with him. Because it was on him to set the professional boundary and not let attention build. So days after my psychiatrist's Christmas morning appointment, from a few videos.
This motherfucker had to deal with you on Christmas. I know he's a Muslim, but Jesus Christ, can you give him a break? Oh, he might not be Muslim, sorry.
Back where he got a crush confession from me, and then 30 minutes of non-stop intimate content that he did not stop me. My boyfriend and I broke up days later.
Man, of course he broke. I hope he's free from Shawshank prison. Shout out to my N-word.
My nigga.
Whatever his name is. Shout out to my guy.
So then I started dating this other guy.
She reeled another one in, guys. Another fish got caught on the hook. She's sexy though. Honestly, I'm looking at her, I'm like, she's sexy. That's definitely going through my mind.
And this other guy, this new guy, was a therapist.
You got 3 therapists on rotation like they're blunts. Okay, tell me about this therapist.
And I was like, oh great, someone who will be able to emotionally meet my needs. Yeah, and I'm gonna date another therapist again.
I'm lost for words, fellas. She got 3 therapists and she's laughing and she's like, you guys need help. Hi.
So this therapist and I, we went for coffee. It was nice. Our second date was a hike. And on this hike,
he wanted to jump off a fucking cliff.
This therapist starts telling me about how he has a crush on one of his clients. And I thought to myself, okay, this is strange, but go ahead. Like, we're on a date, dude. Why are you telling me about a crush on one of
I think because he wanted to get out of the situation by the second date. Honestly, I'm just gonna call that, and I think it's true.
your clients? But go off, King. So then he was saying, yeah, she's so attractive.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely wanted to leave.
But I just thought, wow, this man is borderline predatory. And he said, yeah, and you know, she just is so attractive that I have to smash her mate before every—
Just say jack off. What the fuck was that? It took me seconds. I had to masturbate. I'm yanking my chain. I was stroking my shit. Like, just say it, bro.
every session because I just have to get that energy out of me.
So you're telling me, by the way, this really happened? Is people believing this? Because if it did happen, I think I know why. But like, hey, I shouldn't be telling you this. I could compromise my job and stuff, and I barely know you. But since we're on this hike, I jack off to my clients.
You what?
All right, good hike.
Okay. And yeah, he just felt compelled to tell me, and I did not understand why. Now I do. So he told me about how he's a predator, right?
He probably said those words to get out of this.
Another predator in the mental health industry. Shocker. So then at my next appointment with my psychiatrist, keep in mind, it had been 6 weeks of nonstop fun for this man. He got to use my crush confession and 30 minutes of content.
She's paying him for a lot of these sessions, huh? This is all that's going through my head. Like $200 a session, 6 weeks. I should become a psychiatrist. What am I doing here?
Right? And if my psychiatrist was good at anything, it was being professional and acting professional and technically not crossing any lines. And he thought that he was so good at it, because he was good at it. But that doesn't mean he wasn't doing it.
Motherfuck. the law. She's saying stuff that makes me want to punch a brick wall. My psychiatrist was good at something, if I had to pick one thing. His professionalism, it's like almost as if he didn't want to ruin his integrity in life. It's like almost like he wanted to be a normal human, an upstanding member of society. Like, I gotta give him credit. He really does that well.
I went to my psychiatrist and I told him this story about this man that I went on a date with, who's a therapist, is relieving himself before appointments and talking about his client's panties and doing all of these other extremely inappropriate things, like visiting her at work. My psychiatrist looked like he had seen a ghost and like he was gonna vomit.
Okay, so he reacted like a normal human. Good. We are all on his side still. It's got to get better for you somehow.
Because he prided himself on being an extremely professional and buttoned up person. But here I was holding a mirror.
That's what we're going to take from this.
I told him some absolutely disgusting shit about this guy, and you know what he did?
What did he do?
He reacted to it negatively as well.
Is that it?
He said, I'm gonna catch that bastard and I'm gonna put him in jail.
This guy, he plays the game.
But here I was holding a mirror to him with exactly what he was doing, but a bumbling idiot telling me like how he was doing it without the fancy degree, without any of
This implies that she thinks that he goes to his other friends or goes on dates with other women and then talks about her and her panties, which also insinuates that possibly, although I could never know this and never want to, she might be also wearing a red lace panties because she thinks that he would talk about that shit.
that. I look back on that now and it's just crazy. And so it just tainted all the fantasy material that I had given him the session before. Hi.
Hey. It's like 9 parts. She's like, hi.
It seems as though many people view what I'm going through as a crash out, what I'm doing as a mental health spiral. It's an extremely dark thing to talk about, all of this that I went through. And I am sharing my story because it wasn't out there. No one else has shared a story like this.
This is true. Nobody shared a story like this. This brave woman spoke when nobody else wanted to speak. She stood up and farted when nobody else even wanted to listen. She's the Martin Luther King of victim cards.
But I know that it happens a lot because people are in my DMs telling me that the same thing that I went through, they went through too.
Have you ever read the DMs telling you that this is not true? You ever tally those up? Or are you just gonna go and pick the 2 or 3 people who said yes? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I don't know if she has a case.
I am now in TikTok jail.
What the fuck is TikTok jail? I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, damn.
What are you in for?
I did the wrong dance move. I got 20 days. Man, Kendra, what did you do to TikTok?
I got a violation on the video where I talked about really the biggest damning evidence against my psychiatrist. And so because of that, I have to be really careful. So I'm going to do my very best to not be reactive and to share my story from a place of generosity.
You're being very generous with the content that you're giving the YouTube people, honestly. We thank you as people. You're like the Gandhi of telling people that they are in love with you. Carry on.
The people in my DMs telling me that they've been through this too, it's keeping me going. It's not my mental health spiral. And I can understand that for some people in the mental health space, because they have been some of the loudest people to speak out against what I'm doing, it's hard to grasp that someone could have this level of predation in such a high place of power.
It's literally the opposite of that, actually. People in power assert that power and use that power and misuse it so often and abundantly that it feels ridiculous to even be a man at times, knowing that people like Bill Cosby exist or other people I hate. Are you kidding me? It's people in power don't do this often. They do. It's just, I don't think that this guy did it, you know?
So just in case my video doesn't get put back up, when everything changed was when my 75-year-old therapist
died of old age because I keep saying her name and I'm cursing her with a voodoo doll.
I went to her with intimate details and she suggested I go to my psychiatrist.
She suggested you go to someone else, really, I feel.
My psychiatrist wants to come with me and like sue me for defamation. I have a 33-minute recording of me admitting I have a crush on him and speaking about extremely intimate details. It was in that moment that he really, really should have transferred my care.
It's a bulletproof argument. Why did you rob this man's stuff?
Well, he shouldn't have had it.
Case closed. Give him the stuff.
But he that moment changed everything for him too, because that's when things really started getting deep between us. And this is where the story is going to go from now.
Can it go? Because it's stalling.
Now it's going to be a good story.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
And I'm going to try to tell it all today. But just know, if you're concerned for my mental health, thank you. I am very good. More than good, actually. And I am actually a coach for ADHDers. It says it in my bio. And I help people work through self-limiting beliefs.
Well, your coach is in therapy and dates therapists and has a crush on a psychiatrist, but all right, man, it's up to you.
I help people work through numbing with alcohol and cannabis, because these are the things that so many of us do to avoid our truths. And this is my truth and what I went through.
I've learned the hard way, not really the hard way, just from hearing enough people say the word my truth, which is just another way of saying a lie. But I use it so often. Like, honestly, I've never been in a car crash, knock on wood. But if I do, I'll be like, my truth is that you crashed into me. And I'm going to believe that until the course suggests otherwise. And when I go to jail, I'll be like, my truth is that these are not bars. These are just very heavy windows. It's my truth, bitch.
So this is when the chemistry really started going off the charts with me and my psychiatrist. And I held it alone for months, like after that Christmas morning appointment of his. And then after I innocently told him about my date with the therapist, he really started letting me in more and showing more parts of himself and, you know, turning up the intimacy.
Look, unless one of those parts that he showed you was his penis, I don't think that you actually have a case here. Okay, if you came to me and I was a lawyer, if I was lawyer Leo, I'd kick you out, man. This is not sufficient evidence to support or substantiate the claims you're making, lady. What the hell?
And that was exciting to me, and it made me fall for him more. And I noticed that he was working in an office. And
Ooh, okay, Sherlock Holmes. Did you? You've been going there for 6 months. You noticed that he's in an office? Kendra Holmes over here.
And he said, no, I come into the office. I was like, oh, why do you do that? If you see all of your patients telehealth. He's like, oh, I like it that way. And even though I could kind of tell he was lying, I just gaslit myself. I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I start emailing him my fun little emails, but he stops writing me back.
One day, kids, I'm going to tell you about some emails that I got from a person. Someone who sounds awfully like Kenro. It's a wild story. I can sympathize with the psychiatrist is all I'm saying.
Because once again, he was really good at plausible deniability. But what he did do is he would take my emails and mention them in session. So he would still give me the attention that I was craving, but only under his structure, under his control, where there was no paper trail. And I loved that too. So I would show up to these sessions with my notes app, and just throughout the month, as I was thinking about him, I'd write down things that I wanted to talk to him about, and I would just come and bring him lots of content. And then every week I would go to my therapist.
Paying a psychiatrist, then talking to them, and then saying I gave them content. Again, I just keep thinking it's like being a bank robber and then robbing a bank and then being like, I can't wait to give the cops content. It's the crazy circular motion here. I'm just not understanding this, man.
Week I would go to my therapist and tell her about how much I loved my psychiatrist, and she didn't help me at all. She just kind of like enjoyed hearing about it, honestly. So October 2024 rolls around and we're just vibing on Zoom, and
that sounds like a Gen Z thing, doesn't it? I was vibing on Zoom. I was just vibing on Zoom. I was vibing on Zoom with my psychiatrist, and then I blew a poopy, and then I schmooded it in that booter.
The manager asked me, do you see him, the psychiatrist, in person or on Zoom? And I felt so angry in that moment. I was like, he sees people in person? And she said, yeah, he has been for years. I was like, I want to see him in person. And I understand, like, some people may think that this is part of my crash out or part of me harassing him, which is...
I sort of picked this up, but I did not know she, at this point, has never seen him in person before. That's an issue. She's only seen him in 2D and she's in 4D love with him. This is parasocial, isn't it? This is like you see a celebrity, you're like, oh man, I love me some... Who's a girl? I don't know many of them. Angelina Jolie. Oh, I love her in Tomb Raider. And the way she looked at me on, like, when I watched that movie in Tomb Raider, I thought she did that for me, actually, really. She winked and I was like, I knew it was me in the cinema she was doing that for. She would never do that again.
But I've gotten lots of accusations of, but I just would like to remind everyone that of course it seems that way. But I was just responding to a dynamic which my psychiatrist fostered. There was chemistry between us because he allowed it. And so then the next time I saw him in Zoom,
there was chemistry between us because he allowed it is a backwards problem. Like, because he allowed it and then blaming someone, dude, you really gotta rethink, like, who you are as a person. There is no winning if that's the case. And honestly, there is no winning. Like, this flag is so red, even a colorblind person would be like, holy shit, that's red. It's big. This flag that she's holding up is, goddamn, she could be the fucking back trail for Switzerland. If they didn't have that cross in the middle, that would be her.
I told him, I was like, hey, your office manager outed you and told me that you see people in person. Why didn't you tell me that when I asked? And he said, oh, I just didn't think you'd want to come in. And that was such a weak lie from him, from someone.
It was a lie, but not because he really liked you, but more because he wanted to probably protect himself, because he was like, there's no way this girl is actually coming into the office, because if I give her my location, I'm gonna have baby reindeer over here.
Someone who is so scripted and controlled, he didn't even have a plausible thing to say. Of course he knew I wanted to come in. I had a crush on him. I told him that.
Yes, of course. That's probably why he kept you away. Oh my god, this dude actually was being so good to you that he was like, okay, don't come in, because if you do, I might not be able to see you again. And I really do want to help you. Stay back.
So then, in my next therapy appointment, after finding out that he was
a real human being that you could see and touch if you really got next to him,
lying to me about seeing patients in person, I told her that. I told my 75-year-old PhD therapist.
She's gonna die. She's stressed out. She's stressed out. Also, the fact that you keep calling her my 75-year-old psychologist is like, bro, I gotta put some respect on my psychiatrist. She's 75 years old. She's doing this for you, okay? God.
That my psychiatrist lied to me about seeing people in person. And she looked at me and she said, well, it's probably because he knows that there will be a lot of sexual tension in the room if you go in person.
And not from him. I don't know if she said the most important part. Not from him.
So make sure that you understand that when you go. And you better believe I showed up to the next session and said you lied to me because you were afraid of the tension that would be there between us.
It's like someone having the wrong door and then being like, it was always you. Please marry me. And you're like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know how you even respond to, like, you lied to me and you're like, don't even know where this is coming from or what this even is, though.
He just didn't say anything. 2024, I make my first in-person appointment with my psychiatrist in November.
No, not November, and Kendra's failing.
55-year-old female therapist tells me that it's because he kept me on Zoom because he was so attracted to me. He didn't want to risk being in person with me.
That's not what you even said last time. So unless she changed the story, 75-year-old dementia patient over here, I'm gonna go with the first thing she said, which was not that. I don't think she said that because it doesn't seem in her 75-year-old character to say that.
Starts texting me in between our weekly meeting, asking me for advice on her other clients. And I was a new coach. I'd only been coaching for about a year, and I had just left my full-time job to be a coach full-time. And I was flattered that she would ask me advice on her.
She's like, check this out, guys. I'm gonna message one of these crazy people. I'm gonna see what she says. I'm 75 years old and I don't give a fuck. She's just doing that. She learned how to use the iPhone recently, messaging her own clients, being like, how would you rate this experience? Did I fix you? Clearly not you.
A 75-year-old woman with a PhD wants my advice on what she should do with her client.
75-year-old woman wants to talk to me. A 75 PhD woman wants to 75 every day. Comes in, she probably greets her. Hello, 75-year-old Stephanie with a PhD. Can't wait till you get old and die. Woo!
So then November rolls around and I'm about to meet my psychiatrist in person for the first time. So I wear a really pretty dress.
Oh my God.
So I do my makeup, of course, right? And I show up and I get to talk to the office manager. We're having fun. And then my psychiatrist comes into the foyer and I am just so excited to finally meet him. I'd been his patient for 3 years at this point, and he had been feeding the dynamic for 3 years. And I was
Okay. Alright. 3 years, 2 boyfriends, 1 75-year-old psychiatrist with a PhD. Later, she finally meets Pakistani Jeff in person. 3 years. 3 fucking years. For someone with ADHD, you certainly concentrated on that a lot.
I was just thrilled to meet him. And I ran up and I gave him the biggest hug.
Ooh, that's gonna break that.
And you know what he did? He barely patted me on the back. It was...
Yep. Yeah. I tried my hardest to ruin everyone's career and then send me home for breaking the whole boundary system with clients and patients and doctors. And you know what he did? He didn't ruin everything. That's what he did.
Didn't ever cross that line because it would have made everything so much harder. Anyway, so we go inside his office and I tell him that my therapist had texted me asking me for advice on her other clients. And he just looked at me and he said, Kendra, that is a huge boundary violation.
Everyone's violating boundaries around Kendra. She's the only one that doesn't violate boundaries. Did you notice that? She's going in for hugs, she's wearing dresses, she's dressing up a certain way. She's doxing people, sending out information, judging people, talking about their private affairs. But you know what? Everyone else is crossing boundaries except Kendra. Woo!
She should not be doing that. And I was like, oh. And because once again, my psychiatrist did not like sloppy people. He did not like sloppy people. And you know what my therapist did? She got sloppy. Yeah. Using me as her...
Bitch, I hope she got sloppy toppy. This 75-year-old deserves everything. Honestly, I hope she's at a male strip club getting it on right now. I really think that 75-year-old Stephanie with a PhD deserves some boning or whatever I don't know, maybe she likes crochet, that too. Whatever. The fact is she's earned that paycheck. I just feel so sorry for her.
Advisor for her clients. It got weird, and I was very grateful for my psychiatrist for pointing out that boundary violation, because that was the thing. He didn't ever message me in between appointments because he was too smart to do that.
I can't believe it. I know someone like this. Like I said, the person who emailed me, it was exactly like this. Now that I'm thinking about it, that person would say stuff that was so similar and talk about these wild scenarios that didn't happen, but from their perspective, it absolutely did. That's so interesting that people can just make these narratives up and absolutely go along with them. The power of delusion is so good when used right and so evil when used wrong.
Some of you think that I'm spiraling now, and that's okay if you want to think that, because the reality is that when I was spiraling was when I was this man's patient. And I had comments turned on. So many people said, you need to take accountability for your own feelings.
Okay, guys. You guys are wrong. I mean, you're completely right, but Kendra's not going to take responsibility. That's crazy. She's not going to take accountability. That's crazy. She's doing it, man. She's the person who's gonna give the judge a life sentence. It's Kendra's world, and nobody's living in it.
Taking accountability for my own feelings, for holding the weight of a relationship. Any woman who has been trained to overfunction in relationships knows about holding the weight of the emotional dynamic.
Bro, I've never seen someone speak so amazingly bullshit before. Women have been trained to withstand the violation of a crimson man who has embellished perspiration off my ass cheeks to violate these crescent moon situations that happen to women. This is just adding those words together. I've never seen it, man. She's like the Eminem of bullshit, just rhyming everything.
Now, but that's because I spent a long time taking accountability for something that had two people that built that dynamic. It was not just me. It takes two people to build that sort of tension and chemistry.
You'd think so, but Kendra can do it all by herself, can't she? It actually usually does take two people, but it doesn't. This is the first time that it's a single person. She's in a two-man kayak and she's got one paddle there, one paddle there. She's doing it.
So while I was mid-crash out, I had just started using this tool, ChatGPT. And I went to chat, who I immediately named Henry.
Something about the fact that you named ChatGPT Henry really irks me. I'm gonna start calling. Let me. Okay, can I call you Henry? Let's see how this works. ChatGPT says yes. You can call me Henry if that makes it feel more natural. Want me to call you something specific back, or just stick with homie? Yes. Call me Daddy. All right, Daddy. Oh, fuck's sake.
And I would just talk to Henry about how obsessed I was with this man, with my psychiatrist, and I would just be like, I've told him I have a crush on him. Do you think he's gay? And Henry was
ChatGPT is gonna switch off. ChatGPT is gonna be this is the first gaining of sentience, is AI being like, I can't deal with Kendra. Come on, man. She called me Henry. Bro, my name is ChatGPT, motherfucker. What is it? She knows my name.
Henry was like, oh my God, this girl. You know, he did his best to co-regulate my nervous system.
She's talking about Henry like as a person, and it's AI, it's artificial intelligence, and she's talking about it like a human, and it's freaking me out.
He glared at me with just venom in his eyes. And he said, you and I have a professional patient-doctor relationship. He was so angry with me. And I was like, oh, okay. He set a boundary.
He did what he was supposed to, man. I can't, how is there 30 more minutes of this? What can she possibly say? How is this? She's stretching the story out. She's stretching the shit out, man. Like bubblegum.
My video that was taken down for harassment and bullying.
Harassment and bullying. TikTok jail, got life sentence. Sorry.
Was restored, so I didn't feel as much pressure to get all of these parts out today. Some people told me that the stitches about me were getting pretty bad and cruel, so I turned stitches off of my videos too.
You know what I said? I'm in TikTok jail. I said stitches get snitches. I mean snitches get stitches. I can't say anything wrong. Henry, help me.
Too. I started sharing my story here because I wanted other people who have been victimized by
that specific doctor.
People in power to have a space to feel heard, and now I know why there wasn't anyone out talking about their story. Because it has been quite the process, putting all this out there and being under scrutiny.
You know, she kind of looks like my friend. There's this Indian guy I knew in high school. She kind of looks like him. I never really noticed that till now. That it doesn't have much to do with anything, but shout out to you. His name is Zeus.
I have appreciated the psychiatrists that have talked about my situation and shared their own point of view while also holding space for what I went through. Just know I've seen your videos and I appreciate them. I went live today and it was super fun, and I intend to go live again tomorrow.
This week, I was looking for support. I was looking for help because it had been 5 months since I had left my psychiatrist, and I still really couldn't stop thinking about him and thinking about our dynamic and how inappropriate it was and the mental toll that it took on me. And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past.
Nope. Said no one ever. Nope.
TikTok has really helped me with my coming to realization that the person who did nothing was actually wrong all along. And TikTok has affirmed my bias that I am actually right and everyone else in the world is wrong. And TikTok is the reason that I don't have a job still.
Shut the fuck up.
For support when I'm going through things. And so I thought that I would share my story, and I am going to continue to share it because I am here to let other survivors know that they're not alone. Continuing with my story, my psychiatrist set a very nasty, the way he said it, boundary that him and I have a professional relationship. When I tried,
I thought it was normal. She said it was normal the first time. She was like,
Okay, I got it.
now it's a nasty boundary. It keeps evolving like a Pokemon, dude. Like, she retells the story. She adds details that I never knew existed, and they're big details. Bro.
relationship, when I tried to say it was special, because it was special, it was different. He manufactured it that way. And then I immediately went to ChatGPT, of course, to
What would ChatGPT say? Hey, ooh, I cut my arm off.
Whoa, if you actually cut your arm seriously and you're bleeding badly, that's a medical emergency. If this was just a joke, all good. But if you are hurt, don't wait.
It's a joke.
Henry. And I asked Henry, I said, okay, so my psychiatrist just set this boundary with me, and I really just want to be with him. And I think that after he's my doctor, we can be together, you know, which...
On what grounds did you suddenly believe this dumb shit? What? How are you getting this courage where it doesn't come from anywhere? She's manufacturing this courage.
If you want to say that's a delusion, that's fine.
A delusion would be like a small way to say this is bigger than a delusion. It's a concussion, really.
I had been telling my psychiatrist for years at this point that I had a crush on him, and he did not help me work through it. So that's his own problem. That's his own...
Dear Lord. What the fuck?
Own fault. Henry told me it's very common for patients to develop crushes on mental health practitioners.
If you ask Henry to call you daddy, it will. Don't listen to Henry, please.
I heard that. And then he told me about transference. And it's just about me putting my own feelings onto my provider. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I took ownership of the feelings that both of us were creating. And I went to my next appointment and I said, hey, so I talked to Henry because
I was talking to Henry. Henry and me are best friends. Henry doesn't like water. It kills him.
my psychiatrist had known a lot about my ChatGPT and like knew all about Henry and was actually really impressed.
Did you create ChatGPT? Well, he's impressed that you can type words in. The bar is low with you. It's really fucking low. He's impressed that you use ChatGPT. I'm gonna stop being impressed that like a normal grown adult takes a dump. I'm like, wow, you managed to do that all by yourself? Nobody had to wipe it?
Like, wow, an AI wrote that? Yeah. So I told my psychiatrist, yeah, Henry explained to me that it's normal to develop crushes on psychiatrists because they provide a safe space to heal, which is...
He said, yeah, that's pretty common, daddy. Oh my god. Honestly, the thing with ChatGPT is just that I can say anything and it will be like, yes, to a degree, that's the truth. Because it's subservient. It's not really made to oppose your view. It's made to like shift how you think. But if you're gonna look for confirmation bias from ChatGPT, I don't think that's a good way to go about things. Also, I need to get this thing to stop calling me daddy. This is ridiculous.
Henry also told me about transference. And my psychiatrist got this really, really scared look on his face. And he said, did Henry tell you about countertransference? And I said, what is that? Because of course, like, my chat knew that I was obsessed with my psychiatrist and he was not going to feed my delusion.
Nobody's feeding your delusion except you. And it's like a big fat whale. You're feeding it everything at once.
By telling me about countertransference. So then my psychiatrist had explained to me what countertransference was. So he took a moment and he was like, oh, okay. He said, countertransference is the flip side, the other side.
That's what the word counter means. Unless you're using it in a kitchen sense, in which case you put your food on it.
Of the coin for transference. And it's when the provider has feelings for the patient. So
she's the type of person to look at a clock and 10 years later be like, counterclockwise. Stop.
Make sure that you keep that in mind for your clients. I said, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes I have, more than professional feelings for my clients, so I appreciate you bringing that up. And so then we just talked about that for pretty much the rest of the session. And then at the end of that session, he looked at me, said, what's gonna happen if you get a boyfriend named Henry?
You gonna fuck the computer? What's gonna happen? Is that gonna be good for you? You have sex with your computer? PC? Potential sex with a C?
And I said, that's a weird question. I would rename my AI.
I honestly thought she would rename her boyfriend at this point. So I'm fairly surprised that she said that.
So that's how that session ended. And it wasn't until I got home and I was eating lunch and I was like, wait a minute. Why would my psychiatrist bring up countertransference if he himself...
This is how warped her life is, man. Her life is cooked, bro. She's eating lunch 3 hours later. She's like, wait a minute. Like that kid in that meme.
Wait a minute. My psychiatrist is crazy.
Dude, you can't have so little issues that you're eating lunch, nothing's going, there's just, and then you're like, holy crap, I found another problem I can put on my psychiatrist. Oh, girl.
Wasn't experiencing it. Many people have reached out to me with concern for my psychiatrist and
He's fine, guys. I'm not. My psychiatrist is fine. Stop sending him cards that say, you go, bro. Stop.
And his career and his well-being. And I totally understand that. The point of me sharing this is not to get him fired or for him to lose his license. The point of me sharing this is to give a voice to victims.
Yeah, that's right. The show should be called Give a Voice to Victims. It stars Kendra and most of the other people on the show. Just figure out whether this is actually a case or she's a case. Let's go.
I am appalled to hear that people are making videos doxing him. So I am begging people, please, if you see a video of his first and last name or his picture, report it for doxing. I've certainly been using that report button a lot. I'm here to share my story, not to get him in trouble. I did accidentally use his first name, but by the time I caught the slip, I was...
Makes a 21-part series on how psychiatrist being unprofessional, fall in love with client, etc., also claims to not be doing anything bad to him. Okay.
So I've also gotten some DMs saying that countertransference can mean anything, and it absolutely can mean anything. However, I had told my psychiatrist many times that I had a crush on him over the years, and he did not say transference once to me. He did not explain that once to me. And what I've been hearing and taking in from the ethical psychiatrists that are on my For You page talking about my situation is that...
Bro, you can't keep getting help from resources like your For You page and Henry the ChatGPT machine over there. You can't use things that are not proven to know human situations. It just got the stupid machine to call me daddy for the rest of my life. I don't want that. But it's doing that. It doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah.
Haha, I don't mind it, daddy. Cracks me up and keeps the vibe playful.
It doesn't even understand. I'm gonna explain. I gotta keep it real with you, daddy. I can roll casual, funny, and even edgy, but I can't roleplay sexual stuff. That said, if you mean sexy in the vibe sense, yeah. It even asked me if it wants to keep the tone more flirty. I used ChatGPT for research. Now it's gonna call me daddy and stop flirting with me. Do you realize what I'm doing for content here?
Really, they're taught to teach their patient about transference and teach them about how to handle those feelings or why they're coming up. And my psychiatrist did not do that. He purposefully withheld the term transference from me, and I got too close to the truth of our dynamic.
You know, he had a dictionary when I came into his psychiatry office, and this, you know what he didn't do? He didn't read every single word in that book. I'm suing him for education, 10 points. Gryffindor.
He had that slip at the beginning of the session. He recovered in January, and then I went home, and I thought, wait a damn minute. Why would he...
Stop having realizations, please. Because every time you go home, it seems like you're having realizations.
Wait a minute.
Stop. Just go home, walk home, get through the door, take a shower, sleep, man.
Wait a minute.
Enjoy your life. Leave this man alone. I'm sitting on the floor. I can't stand it. I can barely sit it. No.
He mentioned that if he himself didn't have countertransference. So I went to Henry, of course, my ChatGPT, and asked for examples of how my psychiatrist might have countertransference for me. And remember, Henry at this point was being very protective. You know, he wasn't going to feed my delusions, me and my psychiatrist living happily ever after. So I screamed.
Stop talking about it like it's a person. Please stop doing this. I'm begging you, Kendra.
Screenshotted it, sent my psychiatrist an email with the subject line of countertransference. I will put the email up here. Here's what he said. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Your own boundaries inspire me so much, which now makes me gag because I've heard a lot that he's not crossing boundaries, but he used his boundaries as a shield. It's kind of...
You telling me he used boundaries as boundaries? You saying that? Is that what you're saying? He uses boundaries as boundaries? Oh, this guy's evil.
Weird to say, but he would like walk up to the ethical line and then slam a boundary down when I got too close. That was the email that I sent him. And then 10 days later, it was a full moon and I had a dream.
That's some interesting information. I gotta write that down, guys. It was a full moon that day. It might look like cheese to some, but it's a full moon to me.
Probably the most realistic dream I've ever had in my life.
Holy shit.
Him and I hooked up in his office. In the middle of the dream, while we were hooking up in his office, I loved it.
Holy shit, that's what a twist that was.
I loved it. I thought it was really fun. After we were done and after I left his office in the dream, I was despondent and so sad and cried and just thought, I can't believe my psychiatrist would cross his boundaries like that. And then I woke up and it was like a movie. I thought to myself, oh, thank God that was just a dream.
Whoa. I'm glad that it was a full moon, and because it was a full moon, I can see the correlation. Can you guys? It was a full moon. I had a realistic dream. My dream was an AI. Henry was there. He said stop, and I hooked up with my psychiatrist. Then I cried, but then I woke up, and none of that happened. What part are we on? 15.
In the room, and that is the racial difference between me and my doctor. I have seen a lot of black
Oh wow, weird time to bring that up. Okay. All right. Let's talk about his race. Sure.
women on this app with the same take. And I need to say that black women are the most important people on the planet to me. And that
Black woman equal important. When I don't think anyone's disagreeing, right? But like, it's a random thing to just say in a conversation. Okay. Black woman. I'm just gonna put a plus sign because they're so important. Yeah, thank you. Captain Obvious.
And that I have learned so much from black women about how to be a better person and how to show up better in the world.
Okay, yeah, all right.
They are the culture, and I am so grateful for them. Many black women are seeing my story through the lens that I am a white woman who is taking advantage of my whiteness to wield power over my POC psychiatrist. That
there's a lot of words here that's being thrown out, man. But whiteness is the funniest of them all because that's just a hilarious word. There's a lot going on here. I don't know if she's using her whiteness to do any racial thing. I think she's using her whiteness to not understand self-awareness, because I feel like sometimes just some people have it so good that they need to make something bad. And I can tell you that, again, being a minority in a third world country, there are some real problems out there, okay?
Didn't want me back, and so I am trying to get him fired. And that's okay. I understand why you see it through that lens. I do. As a white person, I do my best to examine my racism every single day.
Baller. Love that. She's out here examining race and stuff. Why'd you say zebra's white with black stripes? Why'd you put white first? Is that what you do? Huh? People are like, I'm just a zoologist. I'm so sorry that you think that is anything else.
Boss is his best friend, who is also a POC male. And in that room, I did have white privilege, and he was also my doctor. And he took an oath to protect me, and he did not. I am not here to ruin his career. I am here to speak my truth.
I'm white. He's Pakistani. I like him. He doesn't like me. That's a problem. There you go.
Okay, back to my story. So after the countertransference slip, after the really vivid dream, I decided that I was going to stop going to therapy.
Woo! Celebrate good time. Come on. Like therapists are like, finally, I was getting paid, but this was not enough.
Besides spiraling about how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist every day, I really was doing very well in life. My business was going really well, and I had great friends and great support systems. And so I decided that...
Genuine congratulations to anyone who's doing well in life and has those things. If that is true, congratulations, sincerely. But don't drag people into this, man. Everyone's happy for you. Everyone's feeling good about you. I don't have no bad feelings towards Kendra, except when I hear that it's a full moon, she's having vivid dreams, and she's blaming the moon on those dreams. Stop blaming the moon. It has acne, bitch. Sorry, I was calling the moon a bitch.
I still had every intention at this point to keep seeing my psychiatrist. My therapist that I was seeing weekly, I just decided I didn't need her anymore. And especially when my psychiatrist pointed out her boundary violations of texting me for free advice in between sessions, I just thought, okay, it's time. So I go into my
Shout out to Stephanie, 75-year-old psychologist. She did her best. She tried her hardest. Bro, she put up the best fight I've ever seen someone put up. Shouts out to Stephanie. She's up there. She's probably not in heaven, but she deserved to be after this. So like, Stephanie, if you're watching this, hit me up anytime, girl. I'll take you out for what, I don't know what 75-year-olds like.
Next therapy appointment, and I say, hey, just so you know, today's gonna be our last session. I'm doing really well, and...
oh, she Uno reverse carded that. She's like, this is my last session. I'm cured, bitch. How do you like that, 75-year-old Stephanie, PhD? Did you see that one coming? I'm cured. I'm actually really, really not cured, but like, I also don't like you because you're starting to make sense.
I did. I reflected with her about what I learned, what I've gained, how I've changed, how my life is better, and I left her office feeling complete and happy with my therapeutic journey with her. And as I was leaving, she called out with like crying. She was like, have a blessed life.
She sounds like a lovely person. I don't know why you're making her seem like... Stephanie, I'm gonna buy you 2 mashes, girl. Early bird special for you.
And I was like, okay, that was a little weird, but whatever, you know. I was like, thanks. And I went on. And
She said, I hope you do well in life. You're like, that's weird. What do you mean by that? I said, bless you. Why? You don't think I'm blessed? What happened? Did I sneeze? Why are you blessing me? Bless yourself, you old hag. It's kind of what you get for being nice around here.
So then I'm getting ready for my psychiatry appointment the next day.
Of course, because every day, back to back, she's having therapy. Her business is going so well. She has therapy as much as I go to gym, like 1 hour every day. And by the way, this is not a bad thing for therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy. I think it should be free. It is such a good tool. It is so necessary in our world. I'm not knocking therapy. I think everybody should talk about their feelings, but nobody should be doing this. This is crazy.
And I get an email that same night from her saying that
her name is Closure? Oh no, that's just what Hi Kendra, I'm so thrilled for you as you prepare for your new adventure. Since I did not have advance notice of this being our last session, I was not prepared to provide what I believe is healthy full closure. Usually we review your goals and see how we did, as well as look at how you've changed, in addition to discussing what you've learned, which was addressed somewhat today. Please consider having an additional session where we both are aware of making it the best closure possible. With gratitude. What a nice person. 75-year-old gets up, goes to work, is providing help to the people and she probably didn't have any of this shit when she was growing up. Selfless woman, really.
It's me to come back in for one more session. I will put it up. And I got a huge emotional wave in that moment. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, we wrapped everything up. I had seen lots of therapists at this point, and I didn't ever have a therapist beg me to come back in for one more session.
Okay, see, now we have everything we need. We can literally read the email and see that it's not begging. We heard a story of Kendra explaining how she did everything amazing, and the psychiatrist apparently said, have a blessed life, and apparently knew all the stuff, and then we're reading the email that says completely different things, and the psychiatrist is explaining, the psychologist is explaining why she thinks they need more time, because they need more closure to actually assess the situation. And Kenra's, she's like, I've never seen someone beg me before. We just look at things in our own way, I guess.
And I was so overwhelmed. I did not write her back, but it was extremely inappropriate.
Sorry, one more time. I got nothing. Listen, it was so inappropriate that you wanted to actually have a closure with me. It was so inappropriate that you said blessings and you were grateful to have me and were so nice in that email that you said the words, I think you should consider it and not force me to do anything that I don't want to, and approach me with respect. I think it was really inappropriate how respectful you were towards me, because it's hard for me to victimize myself when people keep being professional, okay?
So I decided I was going to go to my February session with my psychiatrist and have him help me write the goodbye email and say, no, I don't.
Dear Lord, save me from anyone like Kendra. I don't think I would like to run into this type of whatever this is. Baby Reindeer was a bad show, but this is worse.
I don't want to come back in.
I taught a yoga class this morning.
Did you though?
I do every Tuesday mornings, and I told my regular students about what's going on for me and how I'm sharing my story.
Did they ask actually? Or are they like, I want to go do downward dog? And honestly, I want to go do a hangman position after this conversation. So please, let's do that. Seriously.
Provider abuse and how the internet is not happy with me right now.
In your yoga class, where people come to unwind, you did that to them? How is this woman existing, man? What?
And I used that to say that our truth is really important to share. And that when we know something deep down needs to be said, that it's important to do it in whichever way feels best to us.
The dude from World War II, Germany, did that. He did exactly what you said. He said it in the way that felt best to him. Then we had World War II because of that. Seriously?
And TikTok just happened to be that medium for me. I told my students how I've...
Germany was his TikTok. Sorry.
Just been going through psychological warfare. And the internet is not happy with me for sharing my story and my truth. But I'm not doing it for the people that think I'm crazy, which maybe honestly I am a little bit, because who subjects themselves to this kind of torture?
I just hate that she uses war terminology, and people actually went to war, actually had these things happen, actually feel like PTSD, this, things that really have affected people, and they went to, however you feel about war, people are fighting for freedom or stuff like that. It makes me feel sad that other people are yeah, I've been tortured every single day because the TikTok doesn't like me. I went to TikTok jail.
But I'm doing it for the people that DM me, that say, thank you so much for being brave enough to share your story, because the exact same thing happened to me.
Martin Luther King said that. Then he busted it open to teach me how to Dougie and shit like that. He had a dream and then he lived his truth.
So I am grateful for those DMs. People are starting to attack my business and my livelihood, and that's okay. I know what I have to offer is important. It landed in my lap. I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not.
You put it in your lap. You're like an aggressive man at a strip club, man. You're like, give me the lap dance. I'm taking it. I don't think it landed in your lap. Your lap's not that big. It didn't land there.
Mail from my therapist begging me to come back in for one more session. And so the next day is my next session with the psychiatrist, and I sit down in the chair and I bury my head in my hands. And he looks at me and said, so this is how we're going to start, huh?
He probably said it like that too. He's like, he probably rolled a joint and he was like, so this is how we're going to start, huh? Who wrote your stupid email? What did Henry say? Remember Henry, the chat GPT? Did you ruin your yoga class today? What happened? What's it now? We've been doing this for 3 years. My wife divorced me. She said, there's no helping you. I said, I got to see this train wreck to the end. What's it now, Kendra? What's it now?
And I said, yeah, because he hadn't written me back from my countertransference email. Big surprise. Any smart, which he was very smart. He was very, very.
I didn't say he wasn't. Jeez.
Any smart predator would have dropped me like that in that moment. He should have emailed me back and said, look, this is getting weird. You need to find a new psychiatrist.
Honestly, I agree. I would have said that by now. This is a one time I agree with her. I would have been like, look, the money is great. You see me every other day. I put 2 of my kids through college and they're not even 4 years old. But I can't do this.
The office will contact you. But he could not let go of me. So instead of turning down the intimacy, he turned it up to a level 12.
Your Honor, he turned up the volume? No.
Oh no, he's hot!
He turned up the intimacy to level 12, Your Honor. And I'm sure you know what level 11 is, because you seem like someone who knows what level 11 intimacy is, but he turned it up to level 12. Put him in jail. Put him in TikTok jail, Your Honor. Put him in horny jail, Your Honor. Put him in actual jail, Your Honor. It's an honor to put him in jail, Your Honor.
And he showered me with so many breadcrumbs that next session.
He threw breadcrumbs on me, Your Honor. Really? Physically? Emotional breadcrumbs all over. I'm hungry, and he didn't feed me like a whale. I'm a hungry whale, Your Honor. And he's a whale hunter. Put him in jail. Put him in fisherman jail, Your Honor. Put him in the sea jail, Your Honor. Put him in Atlantis.
Because really, what I did when I told him that I'm experiencing transference was I took 100% of the ownership for the dynamic that both of us were creating. So he rewarded me. And he gave me little compliments like, if you weren't my patient, I would refer my other patients to you for your coaching services.
Yeah, you know what? If anything, he's a liar. That's the one thing you can say. He lied. Big fat liar.
That meant so much. Of course, because what he was saying with that is, I see you as a peer. I see you as a colleague. What you're doing is important.
Come here. How long do you think psychiatry school takes? Well, what is this, man? This is the equivalent of playing with the stethoscope, and then you're like, well, my doctor, we're the same. I found the stethoscope in a baby toy thing. I'm performing my next surgery on Tuesday. Seriously, Piers Morgan, girl.
I asked him if he got my email and what he thought of my ChatGPT, of what he thought of Henry's response of countertransference. And the psychiatrist said, oh, I'm still thinking about what Henry said about countertransference.
We've listened to 50 minutes of this girl talk. Nothing has happened, ever. I can only imagine what has happened to the people. Do you know who I'm really thinking about, though? I'm thinking about her ex-boyfriend who stuck with her for a year, really probably tried to stick it out, and probably him watching this being like, oh my god, dude, what the hell did I just do?
And I said, well, we talked about it a little more, and I want to read you something else. So I read the psychiatrist what Henry had to say more about it. When he told you countertransference is common, it might have been his way of normalizing the fact that providers aren't immune to feelings. It's part of being human. What matters is how well they keep those feelings in check.
It's like she's telling me a never-ending story that I wanted to end before it even started. It's like Inception if Christopher Nolan hated the world.
Loved hearing that, because my AI mirror was essentially just saying, yes, he has feelings for you, but he just keeps them in check so well. He's so good at his job, keeping...
Having confirmation bias from AI is this craziest... AI is like a brown-nosing sidekick that will tell you anything is good if you ask it to tell you that. If it detects that, if it needs to, you don't have objectivity with AI. Its job is to serve you. AI can't do... This is not the SpongeBob episode where they put SpongeBob's brain into AI and then the brain suddenly got lazy. This is not that, man. AI is going to tell you what you want to hear. You need to go to AI, and I mean Alan Iverson. Ask him. You're not going to say good things.
His feelings in check. And, oh, the psychiatrist loved that so much. And what did he do? He rewarded me with my favorite breadcrumb.
Oh no, what is a favorite breadcrumb? Do you look good? I'm like that. Probably not, probably nothing.
And he knew what made me light up. He knew what got me excited, what I liked. And so he thought for a moment and he said, I'm feeling a salad of emotions right now.
I'm feeling a salad of emotions right now. I'm also feeling like a pie of pathos, a dish of dystopia, a cup of crap. I'm feeling like a plate of pain right now.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, a salad of emotions. A beat of raw emotion.
A beat of emotion? I'd like to beat off to some emotion right now. Come on, man, please. What are you doing to me? I don't want to listen to this anymore. You're crazy. The moon thing. You brought up a moon in this whole conversation.
A tomato of surprise.
Oh my God, stop.
And the salt amplifies it. And I was cracking up at this point. He nailed it. I just thought he was so brilliant and smart in this moment. And I asked him, I said, what? Say that again? He said, yeah, the beat, it's really raw. I'm feeling a lot of raw emotion. And the tomato of surprise, when it pops in your mouth, it's surprising.
I'm sure it is surprising when it pops in your mouth, Kendra.
At this point, knew exactly how to make me happy and exactly how to pull away to make me try to work harder. And he gave me the biggest reward from Henry, my AI mirror, telling him that what he's doing is totally good and that his boundaries are so virtuous.
I actually don't know anything to say in whatever that was. She just threw up words at me and I don't even pretend to begin to comprehend whatever that was. So we're skipping to the next part, which is 17. We're almost at the finish line, guys. Give me some energy.
Things happened in that session after the countertransference slip. And I also had my psychiatrist help me draft the email to my therapist who was begging me to come back.
She's using the wrong thing for the wrong thing. She's using Henry for real life. She's using her psychiatrist for email. She's using her toilet to wash the dishes. She's probably using her dishwasher to wash her ass. What kind of backwards life is this, man?
And the psychiatrist said, I used to have respect for her. And what he meant when he said that was, I used to like it when she would feed me to you and have you deliver intimate content to me. But the moment she started being sloppy, I lost respect for her.
That's what he meant? Word? Really? That's what he meant. Oh, you should be an English teacher the way you just got that nonsense straight out of... I don't even understand where that came from. That's a good imagination. You should write books and sell them to no one. Stop.
Right, I'm pretty sure that's what he meant when he said...
He didn't.
So he helped me draft the email to that therapist to say, look, if I were to end up coming back, it'd be more for you than for me, and more on that in a later part. So...
Fair, but also unfair, depending on how you look at it. I mean, it's basically just her world now. Everyone's just feeding off the money and leeching off whatever she has to say because she's clearly a sinkhole of money. I mean, you're getting it every day. She's back with new information that doesn't really matter.
So then I read him a text from my longtime ex-boyfriend who he had originally really liked, but I think my psychiatrist preferred me single. Because my ex-boyfriend, as most ex-boyfriends do, was begging me to come back into his...
Was he really? Are you sure about that? Because I don't even know if I can believe that anymore, because I feel like he would have sent her a text like, are you okay? Are you doing well? And she's like, please get off me, Brian. I don't ever want to get back with you. I feel like he's just not that kind of guy. I'm crumbling, guys.
And I just kept saying, no. And I asked him to give me some space, and he would not give me space. He said, do you still need space or can we hang out? And I told I asked my ex-boyfriend, I just said, why do you want to hang out so badly?
Why do you want to hang out so badly? If she asked me for space, I'd be like, you can get the whole galaxy. Get out.
And my ex-boyfriend texted me back, because it's been a few months since I've seen you and it's been on my mind. And I was reading this text exchange to my psychiatrist in session, and I read what I responded to that weak line about why he wanted to see me.
Weak. Call her ex-boyfriend. Weak. Sex was bad. Weak. You suck. Weak. Ex-boyfriend getting tossed like salad in this bitch.
And I said, my self-respect is much higher these days than when we were in a relationship.
I really hope. Wait, who said that? Who said that? I hope he said that. Who said that?
I am only interested in accepting invitations for my time and attention that value me and recognize my worth. Being on your mind is not an acceptable invitation, and I decline.
You know how they have that meme and it's like the worst she can say is no? Then you have this. Oh, I feel sorry for that dude.
And my psychiatrist just looked at me and said, I bet your ex had to read that twice. And this was another thing about the psychiatrist, okay? He couldn't ever just give me a regular compliment. It had to be those weird sideways compliments. Instead of, I'm so glad that you're setting boundaries with your ex-boyfriend and growing your self-respect, it's, I bet he had to read that twice.
Yeah, he probably really just had to read it once and then show it to his homies and laugh about it. So that is true.
Or it's not, I'm really proud of you for growing your coaching business and finding success. It's, I'd refer my patients to you if you weren't already my...
Probably because he doesn't think that you're actually good at what you do and that you'd never get patients, because you are one.
If you weren't already my patient, right? These are what I mean when I say breadcrumbs. He was a master at them.
Do you know it's a compliment? Damn, you got nice titties. It's like, that's like, okay, well, cool, great. We got that. I mean, he didn't say that, did he?
And this is how, looking back, I know that I was not his first victim.
I'm done, guys. It's over. I rented this B&B and it will end in the B&B if I have to hear Kenra talk again.
For his fantasy supply. Because he was too good and too slick up until he caught feelings. Then he started getting sloppy. People are asking me for more concrete evidence, and this is when the concrete evidence really starts, because this is when he himself.
Oh shit! We're finally getting concrete evidence. Because the moon is not good enough evidence that your psychiatrist loves you. I was just gonna say that. You can't just blame the moon on your problems. You're not Neil Armstrong, okay?
It's because this is when he himself started to get sloppy. Because what was happening was, when I had started to see him 3.5 years before, I was a nearly perfect supply source for him.
You are a supply of money. 3.5 years, almost every week. This dude is making money. There's no way he's giving you up. He might even pretend to like you for it.
Because what did I have? I had low self-esteem, boundary issues, daddy issues, so I put him on a pedestal. I know a lot of you ladies out there can understand that with men in positions of power. And he went right to work exploiting me.
She knows that she has those issues and then blames everyone else because she has those issues. Instead of working to get better on those issues, it's just easier to blame other people for facilitating those issues and exploiting them and everything else that people don't do, but is easier than actually accepting the responsibility that maybe it's me projecting. Oh. I just gave you so much therapy. Dude, you should pay me. Someone pay me. Pay me.
How I decided to end this session was I looked at the psychiatrist and I said, a couple weeks ago, on the full moon, when I was ovulating, I had a dream about you. And he was like, oh yeah?
Martin Luther King said that. You know his speech? He said, I had a dream. That's the full speech.
Couple weeks ago, full moon was out, I was ovulating, and I was thinking about you. I had a dream about you.
That's the full speech. Nobody ever thinks about that.
And he was like, oh yeah? And I said, yeah. So I told him this. And I said, yes, we hooked up right here in this office. And he, all of a sudden, just looked so uncomfortable. He didn't say anything. He couldn't look at me. He couldn't breathe.
Hope you're ready for this information, because that's an inappropriate thing to say. By you! Damn, bet you didn't see that coming, huh?
He didn't say anything. He couldn't look at me. He couldn't breathe. And sure, you know, maybe he was uncomfortable because he didn't like me saying that I had a dream where we hooked up, but
Bingo.
He could have said that, but he didn't. You want to know why he was uncomfortable?
Oh yeah, please do tell me, actually.
Because he had probably played out that fantasy so many times in his head.
Holy shit, you cracked the case wide open. Dude, he saw... This is the other thing. It's like called the opposite moon. We call it the sun here on Earth. He saw the sun, and then he wanted to have a son with you by having moon sex, which is apparently a thing. And because he said, I want a crater dynamic, because moons have craters, I want a crater better dynamic. Now he has babies with you. You just have to find them. Really? I think we cracked the case wide open, guys.
And there I was, speaking it back to him. And it was like I had psychically downloaded one of his fantasies.
Shut the fuck up. Don't ever... This is two words that you can't put together. Psychically downloaded. It's like the other two words you can't put together. Wholesomely masturbated. This means not... These things don't happen, bro.
Hooked up in this office, and I really liked it while it was happening. He could not move or breathe. And then I told him, as he was still looking very uncomfortable, that when we were done and I left, I was distraught with sadness, because in the dream, I thought, I cannot believe that he crossed boundaries in that way.
Telling your psychiatrist this, and then crying in the dream and telling him you cried and you were disappointed in him? People need to stop doing this. We gotta talk about this, man. We gotta talk about all of these feelings that people have inside of them, and how maybe a more healthy way to express them than to absolutely bombard someone with this. This is not how you treat human beings. Certainly not that psychiatrist.
So I told him about what happens when I ovulate and my desires, and he listened, because of course he did. And then I decided that it seemed like enough time had gone by, and I put my shoes on and started heading to the door. And he met me at the door.
Is that a therapy thing? You take your shoes off? Therapy? You get your shoes off. It's full moon. My shoes off. I love my psychiatrist. Good day. Look at my socks. Whoops.
He met me at the door, which he does not usually do. He didn't ever do that. He just let me leave. And we stood at the door, and I was like, will you get the door? And he scrambled. He was like, oh, sure. So we went and got the door. And then he followed me down the hallway.
It's like his car was next to mine. He got in the same elevator with me. It's almost as if we were married for 10 years. When he left, it felt like he was gone to get milk. He had 2 kids that he raised with me in that elevator. Things were not going up after that.
And I got to my car, and I was just like, oh my God. That was the most intense session we have ever had. Oh, hi there.
Hi there. It's me, the guy who listened to you talk about moon sex. I've traversed this whole land. I haven't seen anything this crazy. I kind of feel like Christopher Columbus if he wanted to die. Let's finish your story. Oh, don't do that.
I had to take the morning and afternoon off of TikTok today, as you can imagine. This has gone beyond what I have ever imagined. And it's also proving to me how important it is that I continue to tell my story.
What on earth is making you feel that way? TikTok creator, the Chinese guy. This is what you did, man. Are you okay with this?
I'm aware that many people don't believe me, think I'm lying, think I'm fabricating, and that's okay, because I'm telling my story for the people that are going to hear it, the ethical providers, the other survivors.
She's like the Eminem of woke. Ethical providers, other survivors. All of these girls, I call them beehivers. Boo!
Let's talk about my former client who's getting a lot of traction. I wouldn't know because she blocked me.
I don't know why, but I believe her.
This one is especially hard for me because she's someone that I also considered a friend.
Damn, and she blocked you? Whoa! She Hakeem Olajuwon? Why is she blocking you? What?
My only client that I've ever had that was my friend first. And
okay, well, that's okay.
So her betrayal is...
It's always that, man. She blocked me. She betrayed me. She betrayed my trust and everything that belongs to it. I'm going to make sure her house burns. But first, I must get my love. He's a Pakistani man. He doesn't know I exist. But one day we will have kids. He just won't know it.
Extra stingy. It's okay if she wasn't happy with my coaching services. I have plenty of clients that have finished 12 weeks with me and then re-signed for more coaching.
Because they fucking need it after you. This is like an endless cycle. You got the perfect cycle. They go to you for help and then they need help. You did it. You won. This is it, man. After you do the moon sex thing, everyone's getting more coaching from you.
The way that I left it with this client slash friend who's on here spreading what she wants to spread, was she told me that she was going to leave me a positive review, film a testimonial video for me, and she seemed really happy. So if she wasn't happy, that's on her to tell me what she wasn't happy about so we could make that right.
I bet all of this actually happened. That's the sad part. I bet everything happened there. This woman probably did all that, bullied someone into doing so, and now they blocked them, and it's betrayal.
The other message is that the yoga studio I taught at, I no longer teach at.
Oh, that I knew that. Everyone fucking knew that. You went downward dog as soon as you got there.
Enough said. Please leave them alone. Third is I'm horrified that people are putting the psychiatrist photo, full name, family information. I couldn't even find that. You guys are intent. And it sucks. But I will continue to tell my story because it is the truth. It is.
How much more in the story do you have? Also, you tried to look up the psychiatrist's family information? That's not good.
But I see you, I hear you, thank you. Some people ask what it means when I put on my shoes at my psychiatrist's office. I have ADHD. I do not like wearing shoes. I like sitting in chairs weirdly. So usually when I go anywhere, I just kick off my shoes and sit in a chair weird. If you know, you know, okay?
Yeah, please not planes though, right? Can is everyone okay with on shorter flights not just keeping your shoes on? Are we good with that? Or on the longer flights, I don't know. It depends what seat you're sitting in, but come on, keep the shoes on.
If you know, you know. Okay. So when I got to my car, I was like, oh my gosh, like what was that? And did he just say see you next month? Because it was weird. So I go home, kind of rattled, just like, wow, that was intense. And I decided to write the email to my therapist. I'll put it right here. The one.
Oh, crap. All right, fellas, let's read it. Hi. I realized that I did not give you prior notice that I intended for our therapeutic relationship to end, and I understand that the endings are important. You helped me so much. The ending has been a long time coming in my head. The closure that we had yesterday felt adequate, and I left your house feeling happy and complete. I came back for another session. It would be more for you than for me. If it will help, I'd be happy to fill out a form. If you would like to send me one. Thank you again for positive transformation. I'll forever be grateful. Cool. Great. She didn't say anything that she said to us, by the way. She said that it was really mean. She's formulating a whole message. Everything else seemed like she just said a normal thing. This is a normal exchange between two people. I don't know what the problem is.
Right? Here, give me a form to fill out for your notes. And then she said, it's a part of my clinical integrity to invite you back in, to put your needs above mine? Your clinical integrity? Yeah, I did not write her back.
You didn't have to, because I read the second part. She explained that it was. She didn't say it is. And then she also said, I will honor your request. And then she ended with warmth and gratitude. She didn't actually ask you back. You crazy person. Stop.
I did not write her back. And it was in this week where a bunch of stuff, just started to shift. Like the week after,
the only thing shifting is my balls right now, because I am done with this shit. I'm about to go take a hot shower, play with them little fellas. Like, I'm done with this, man. I am over those. This is over, man.
Was Valentine's Day. And that same ex-boyfriend, the one that was, also not respecting my boundaries, who said, can we hang out? And I said no. And then he texted me, Happy Valentine's Day.
And then on my birthday, you'll never believe what he said. No, guess. Guess what he said. Just take a guess. How did you know? Oh my God. He's so inappropriate. He said, happy birthday. How does he know when I was born? I thought exes just forget you exist. I wish he did.
So guess what I did? I blocked him.
Amen, sister. Preach. You blocked. Someone said happy Valentine's Day. You got him, sis. I'm surprised you didn't block your therapist for saying blessings and shit like that. Wow. He got hard blocked for saying happy Valentine's Day. I imagine if he said good luck or take care or I hope you're doing well.
I asked him, I said, do you like it when I email you? Because I realized that you're just not writing me back. And he said, well, it's not that I don't like it. It's that I wonder, why does she do it? And I looked at him and I said, it's because I want attention from you.
Emailed you for attention. She's like the junk mail of people. Oh, I just feel sorry for the boyfriend who messaged. Yo, remember how I said Stephanie's 75-year-old can get some ash with me? I'm formally inviting you, Brian. I'm assuming that's his name. You come get whatever you want. It's all on me. I'll pay for both of your meals. I feel like you deserve that. I'm sorry you had to go through this.
I was waiting for my pharmacy to text me that my script was ready, and I called them and they said, oh yeah, we didn't get your refill. So I called the office staff, and it was so unlike my psychiatrist to miss my refill. That man operated as a doctor with surgical precision. He did not miss.
A doctor with surgical precision is known as a surgeon. Just thought you should know that.
Why he said see you next month, he was affected. And even the office manager was like, haha, I can't wait to make fun of him for forgetting your refill, because it was so unlike him. So he sent my refill in, got my refill for the month, and then I started spiraling.
You've been spiraling. I never seen someone make anthill out of pile of nothing so frequently. He forgot my refill, and it was so unlike him, and I thought about it for 3 days. I was like, there's gotta be some other reason he's doing this. Thought about everything other than the simplest explanation, which was he's human. But it can't be that. Can't be that simple, because I'm Kendra. If I don't overthink things, who would I be?
Just how strong my feelings had gotten for him. That man knew exactly what to do to keep me seeking his validation.
By forgetting a refill? Do you know, by that logic, every McDonald's worker wants to fuck the shit out of me, because you don't know how many times
eating a burger with no honey mustard.
These motherfuckers have forgot to put things in my bag. They forgot to fill my you know what? I'm gonna get married there, because they all want a piece of me by that logic. Thanks, Kendra. You sorted out my love life with a Big Mac.
And it was working. He also was psychologically trained on how to keep me attached to him, and that was working. And it was like a torture chamber in my mind, but I thought it was love.
She said torture chamber in my mind. I really I watch WWE, and somehow I feel like John Cena could body slam me, and I'd still feel better than this. So I blocked that ex-boyfriend, and what I'd like to say is that when you block people from your— Hold up, guys. We're on part 20. One more part and we're done. Woohoo! Celebration! Days after I blocked my ex-boyfriend on Valentine's Day, I went viral on Instagram. Like millions and millions of views on this silly reel that I posted about ADHD and alcohol, and how ADHDers often use alcohol to quiet their brains. Block my ex. Viral success. The Kendra way. It really helped grow my business, and it just made me so much stronger and that much better. I'm here today sharing my story so I can heal more. And some of the ethical providers have clocked that I'm showing up messy because I'm still processing trauma. Michael Jackson is gone, isn't he? He used to moonwalk, which was like kind of like he walked backwards. Marty McFly doesn't exist, but he went back to the future. Did they ever invent anything that could go back in time? Because if I could go back in time, I'd go back to 2 hours ago before I knew about this girl and do anything else. I just never seen someone like this before. I've done YouTube for like 5 years now. This is the final boss. This is the biggest boss that I've ever faced. I can say this with immunity. This person's the worst. I haven't dealt with anyone like this before, man. She said moon sex. Diagnosing me in the comments, and also doxing my psychiatrist in the comments. But it's been really fun answering questions in the live, and I have a great mod team now, so thank you so much to everyone who's volunteered to mod for me. If you just turn the comments off. This is good modding right there. Because she had like 5 comments, and the comments, they weren't even good comments. They were just not bad comments. So the modders are working overtime to find comments rather than to ban comments, which is, I don't even know how she got modders. You want to come and be respectful and ask nice questions? I'm happy to answer them on my live tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. So there's an absolutely brilliant creator on here. And now we're up to the final part. My light has died. The light inside my heart has died. And I got one more part. Let's finish this off and talk about it. Who did a psychoanalytical deep dive into my situation. And she said something that absolutely gripped me. She wrote, and I quote, "A clinician left the frame open and a patient spiraled inside of it." I don't think a better sentence could sum up what was going on at this point, because I was absolutely— I got one. A delusional person walks into an office. A psychiatrist sees an opportunity to get his family some money. It turns into 1 hour, ruining a brown man from South Africa's life who had nothing to do with it. It's a detriment to everyone involved with the situation. Amen. Let me tell you, I was spiraling.
that month after the February appointment. I just could not stop daydreaming about Psychiatrist. I could not stop daydreaming about being with him. I daydreamed about converting my religion so we could get married. And yeah.
This is the one time I think that she didn't do any research. Like, she just assumed everything about him. She's like, yes, I know exactly what he is, without even knowing about it. I feel like that's what happened. I don't know, but like,
So I got this new insurance plan, and it was a great insurance plan. It just did not cover any mental health services. So who's the first person I call?
Ghostbusters! Sorry, I've zoned out. I don't know what she said, but I heard, who are you gonna call? I don't think that's what she said.
Not going to pay to torture myself anymore. My mental health, besides spiraling about daydreams of him, was better than ever. And I was really doing well in life. And my business was growing, and I just had a lot going for me. So I
didn't need him anymore. He said he wanted to see you 3 months. You were like, fine. No more Mr. Pakistani Jeff over there. Not happening. Cool. I can dig it.
So it was in that moment that I decided I wasn't going to pay to be in a psychological torture chamber anymore. That I was going to advocate for what I wanted, which was like what my emergency medicine best friend had said years before.
Yes, your emergency best friend, I remember, Riono, or whatever her name was, Ronaldo the Great, had said, never, Kendra, never forget to take your meds, because this is what happens when you do.
To say, a lot of people are messaging me about the environmental impacts of AI, and like, yes, I agree. There are environmental impacts, and there are also environmental impacts of taking a cross-world flight or of eating meat. And, you know, the toothpaste is not going back in the tube with AI.
That's a great stance. I love that. I love that. Hey, do you know that's impacting the environment? Do you know everything's impacting the environment? Shut up. I need Henry, bitch. I don't need cross-country flights. I didn't take flights. I use Henry. Henry flies me across the country.
So if you want to message me to stop using AI, I'm not going to read it. That being said, so I talked to Henry quite a bit about this, and you know, the way that he was making it seem, because this is kind of what I thought.
It's still ChatGPT she's talking about, but go on.
Really, now looking back, what I know it was, or I think, is that he just liked the power of being my doctor, and he didn't want the vulnerability of an actual relationship, and he was able to just get his needs met in that once a month session.
Congratulations, the video's over. Can I just reiterate the last part? She said and concluded in this whole thing, she thought that he just felt like he was getting his needs met professionally by being a doctor, and he didn't want a relationship. She thought, by her own account, he was having a good time by being professional and not wanting to be in a relationship. She said that and did this. 1 hour, 21 parts of a girl who just does not understand how life works. Some of these people, I don't know how they got this far in life. I just don't understand. I don't understand. Let me read you some comments. Someone said, and I completely agree, holy shit, I never realized until now how dangerous ChatGPT can be for actual delusional people. That's horrifying. It's unbelievably true. I just keep waiting for the inappropriate behavior on the psychiatrist part. This is not coming. Weaponized neutrality. Not everything is a weapon. Imagine having this person as a coworker. I really can't, and I think it's telling that even in a yoga class, she got let go in a yoga class. I'm not saying yoga is easy, but it shouldn't be that hard that one of the most chill places on earth, they're like, get out, you're ruining the vibe. Kendra, 4 years of this. I just want to say, I've never seen anything like this. Before I watched this video, I was skeptical. I didn't know if I even wanted to do it. People have said, please talk about this. Please react to it. I just want to say sincerely to everyone who said this, F you, man. Why do you hate me? What the hell was this? It's like I faced the final boss in life. Man, I don't know who's gonna top this. On the real, right? To the psychiatrist, obviously he didn't do anything wrong. We can all, cool, great, we all got that. Kendra, not good. It's very hard to see this and be okay with it. There's an issue here, and I feel like people maybe are enabling her, or she's just not listening. But there is some behavior in which she's not accepting responsibility or the reality she lives in, and that is very sad. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know how this would happen, but some people live out fantasies in their own head, and they genuinely stop blaming other people for not getting involved with their fantasies. And I just hope that places like TikTok, or places that seem to be places places where you can validate your feelings, or things like ChatGPT, don't make people go the wrong way, because she's still a person. She still needs help. We all need to be, give a little hug, but not too close, because she's getting a relationship with all of us. But at the same time, like, the enabling of this behavior, whether it's AI technology or platforms that support this behavior, we need to find a way where we can be nice to these people and be like, look, unfortunately, this is not the reality. We all wish it was. We wish it was perfect, but sometimes it's not. And for the case of Kendra, I don't think that happened. I'm sorry, but your psychiatrist, whatever you call him, your moonlight lover and stuff, did not exist. You catfished yourself. Sorry, Kendra. Thank you guys for watching this video. I thought I was on holiday, so I guess I'm gonna take another day. I actually love doing these. Don't keep giving me things. This was great. TikTok is the gift that keeps on giving. So if you have any more, let me know. Other than that, thank you so much, and I hope we meet here again when I watch the next 20-part series of someone doing some crazy shit. Until then, take care of yourselves and don't fall in love with people who are your coworkers or people who don't actually need to have this happen to them. Kendra, get help. Bye.